Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review special tonight. Obviously, just quickly penciled in before the main TDR Friday show, which, of course, will still go ahead of it at 8 o'clock. Alex has been doing some work in the background regarding our new signing. It isn't exactly brand new news anymore. We now have Alexander Isak, who will be playing in number 14 shirt moving forward, and possibly a future number 9 at the club, given a 6-year contract. Alex, it's a brilliant signing, isn't it?
Probably the most important signing in our history.
Yep.
Since Alan Shearer. It doesn't mean it's going to work as well as that. It might not, but the premise of it is let's bring in a young, top tier. Because this guy was looked at by Champions League clubs for trophy title pushing clubs. So that is the step. We got a little bit lucky with Bruno being quite as good as he is. We knew he was good, but he's been way better than anybody could have predicted in the Premier League. But this is just an out and out. Everybody thinks he's probably at that level, and we've just gone and got him. So this is. It feels like if everything else prior to today was phase 1, this is the beginning of phase 2. It feels like this is right. The wallet's opened a bit more. This is it. This is the new. Phase 2 has started. We've got the big boy striker in now.
Yeah. A question that everybody's asking is, will he start on Sunday? I said last night on the show that in my predicted lineup, I think he'll be on the bench. I think he'll go with Chris Wood. But you know what? Eddie Howe is there to surprise us. I don't know. How do you feel on that?
It's a tricky one. It is a very tricky one. So based on logic, Sociedad play a 4-3-3. I think he would be familiar, probably 70 to 80% familiar enough with how we play to start. But we do play in quite a technical way. There's a lot of instructions, pressing instructions. There is quite a you've got to understand what's going on. You've got to understand the whole group inside out. That's why everybody's been integrated slowly. So possibly. But I think it's unlikely. I think I'm probably about 3/4 sure that it will be Chris Wood. I think Isak will get a cameo or a substitute appearance. But I could be wrong. Purely because of the quality difference.
Yeah. And how it depends how the game goes as well, doesn't it? If he starts Chris Wood and things aren't going well, and he's got a 60 million quid striker on the bench, he's not going to keep him there, is he?
And he trained today apparently. So if they're that keen to get him on the training pitch, maybe there's an eye on Sunday for him starting or at least appearing.
And Eddie Howe said this morning, it kind of gave the impression that he may play. But you know what Eddie Howe's like. Roy Tate, thank you for becoming a new member of the channel. Welcome to the Toon Review family, my friend. And good to have you here. Jim says, evening, Paul, Alex, and Billy. Isak, great news. And watching other videos, he seemed to impress in training today, scoring a few goals. Well, let's hope he does. Right, what do you want to first bring up about Isak, Alex?
Well, honourable mention for the previous number 14s of the club with Nzogbia, James Perchinho, Obertan, Jack Colback. Yeah. So this does feel like a step up.
Yeah, just slightly. You look at the past 14s and you think, well, it's a number that hasn't gone down in folklore at Newcastle United. But hey, this is the chance to change it all.
Indeed. So prior to screen share, we'll have a look at how he's gotten on in the last few weeks. How is he looking at the moment in his current form? Well, everybody's talking about this Barcelona game that's just happened. They lost 4-1 to Barcelona with Lewandowski scoring like in the first minute because he's a robot. But they answered straight back with Isak. So I've gone and watched the full game against Barcelona, and I also went and watched the full game against Cadiz. So he didn't score in that, but I'll explain. So against Barcelona, extremely good. So young, tall, very good at dribbling, quite aggressive, can float in the channels a little, even slightly more than Wilson does as well. So the way Sociedad were playing is a 4-3-3 with, you'll know these people, some people will, Kubo, who was at Real Madrid, the Japanese wonder kid. So he's at Sociedad. And also David Silva from Manchester City, formerly of Manchester City, is playing kind of as a really, really deep 9 or a 10. He's playing, so it's basically 4-3-3, but instead of having a pinnacle striker, that one up top is actually David Silva really deep. So it's kind of like a 4-3-1-2 in theory. So and I like the style of it because Kubo kind of operates in a similar fashion to what Miggy does for us. He's technical. He's more technical than Miggy is, but he's a little rat. He just chases everything down, presses, and we'll get to him in a minute. But so the goal versus Barca that Isak has just scored recently, basically Kubo managed to rob the ball in a high press, very similar to what Miggy does 3 or 4 times a game. And then it drops back to David Silva, who was in a kind of position that we see Bruno in a lot of the time. Plays a nice little cheeky through ball. Isak manages to run through in the channel, like one-on-one with the fullback, positioned very well. He beats the man in the channel run, and does a nice little cheeky chip, and it falls kindly, gets his goal against Barca. And he should have had an assist in that game as well. He ran the channel again, very strong, and played through a teammate pretty much into a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he didn't score, so he should have done. So that was against Barcelona, and then against Cadiz as well, a couple of weeks prior to that. Watched that game. Oh, he was always making runs. I feel like it's somebody's put an Energizer battery in Chris Wood. That's what Isak looks like. He is so he'll make 1, 2, 3 bendy runs. And each time he makes those little runs and the ball won't come to him, he's so quick to get back in position and make himself a passing option into space. And he kept doing that. And that actually got them the goal, because what happened is there were 2, almost 3 players marking Isak because he was being so annoying positionally. There was a big hole that Kubo just ran into, dinked it down, goal, bang. And that was purely because Isak was positioned so well and being a nuisance with his runs and his positioning. He's very hungry to constantly get him behind and be annoying. And he was always available in the box in that game. He was constantly, if they were on the attack or had the ball anywhere near the penalty area, Isak was making an effort to be in and around the 6-yard box, varying it up, front post, back post, running around, so active, just trying to get himself into some space to receive the ball to score. So those are the 2 games I've seen the full 90 minutes for. Outrageously good. Very, very impressed. Very, very impressed. I can't say I've seen much more than that because I haven't. So I've tried to clue myself up as much as possible. But how he looks at the moment, I'm impressed, especially because I think we will be a little bit better than Sociedad in our league. I think we've got a little bit more strength across our 11. Obviously, David Silva's incredible, but even at that age, he's incredible. But I think overall our 11 is a little bit stronger, a little bit more technical, and I think we'll be able to utilize him even more. And I believe he said this in his own interview that he, in a dominant team, I think he thinks he'll do better, and I agree. I think he'll get more service. So yeah, that's just, I couldn't really screen share that. That's just what I've watched in research, but I'm very excited. I think it's a cracking signing because I think he could play anywhere across the front 3. Obviously, we want him to be a forward, but he's pretty handy in channels. He loves just being cheeky and peeling onto a fullback and just beating them. He's very, very cheeky when he does that, but it works a treat.
Just while you get the number on the screen, Darren says, "Hi guys, do you think we are done with transfers for the summer? I think we'll get a player on loan. I don't think we're done. I think we may well. I think a loan signing is possible, but also another permanent signing for me is very, very possible. So time will tell. You know, we've got just under a week left now of the transfer window. I definitely think we're going to be active on deadline day. I genuinely believe that. Or certainly linked with someone on deadline day. Could be one of those. But you know, the way we're going, you know, we may have, you know, I don't know, couple maybe, Alex, would you say? Or would you just pay maybe a loan deal, or are you confident we might get another permanent?
I agree with you. I think it's either going to be just a loan or a loan and another permanent. I think it's, at minimum, it's going to be one. Absolute minimum. Whether it's another permanent or not is who would be the permanent? That's the thing. The people who have been bandied about as a permanent are quite expensive signings, and we have just, you know, dropped a fat wad of cash on Isak. So whoever that permanent
got very quiet,
would be,
hasn't it? You know,
yeah.
Madison Again, don't know. There's Pulisic at Chelsea, Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher's the one I think would be a loan deal.
Yes.
I think we could possibly get Chelsea to sell Pulisic, but it just depends who we're interested
Not sure we
in.
could afford
we
it.
don't know.
I mean, Harrison and Pedro make more sense financially because both seem to be between 30, 35-ish, which isn't quite as much, whereas Pulisic would be more than that. Although there seem to be journalists fighting amongst themselves as to whether Pedro's on or off, I'm not getting involved. You guys have a fight. It's not up to me. I'm not naming names, but there's a lot of big journalists not agreeing with each other from different sources. So I think if it's going to be a permanent, it'll be one of those slightly cheap 30 to 35 mils, mental, but we've changed as a club. So it'll be one of those kinds of signings if it's going to be a permanent and then a loan, I think. I don't think if we have another permanent that's 50 to 60 mil, I mean, I'm not giving a forfeit for myself, but I would be shocked if we dropped. There's no way. I think if there's another permanent, it'll be 30, 35 tops.
Yeah, I think you're right. Right, what we got here. There you go. Take it away. Do you want to just zoom in a little bit, Alex? Or...
We will indeed, yeah. So straight onto his FBref, because FBref's brilliant. So let's have a little look. Right, everybody, don't come at me for this. Some people say 6'4", some people say 6'3". FBref says he's 6'2.5". I know a lot of people called me out on the Dan Burn height. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've seen everything in between 6'2.5" and 6'4". So he's tall. All right, he's tall. So he is apparently 339 days. So yeah, he is gonna turn 23 quite soon. Was born in Sweden to Eritrean parents. Is that the way to say that? Eritrean? I think that's the way to say that. So yeah, still very young. If we scroll down, let's have a look at the career first. So we'll go down. So basically ended up after his youth career in Sweden, ended up getting a move to Dortmund. Didn't get much of a look in because they had quite impressive young talents, sort of, i.e. Erling Haaland. So he didn't get much of a look in.
Who, by the way, will play Dortmund again in the Champions League. You couldn't write a script for that, could you? Bizarre.
Well, that's a different video altogether. But the fact they've managed to put Chelsea Milan with the Tomori thing, and then they've also got Haaland versus Lewandowski, it really does feel slightly fixed. But we won't go down that road.
Of course not.
But Willem II was his loan from Dortmund when he wasn't getting as many minutes. He did rather well, to be honest. 13 goals in 15 starts from only 1,300 minutes. He absolutely destroyed it. He was far too good for the Eredivisie. Real Sociedad picked him up, took a chance on him. He was kind of an understudy in his first season, and then second season played a lot more minutes, went up to 2,300 minutes, which may I add is still, it's not that much. He got 30 starts, but 2,300 minutes. Again, I use this as the benchmark. Maxi got 2,800. So this is, this is 19 goal contributions, 17 goals from fewer minutes than Maxi was playing last season, which is very, very tidy. Obviously, last season, a lot of people are pointing out, he only got 6 goals. Yeah, we're aware, but they changed the side a little bit. They played. Yeah, they changed the way they played
last night as well, Alex. There's a lot of reasons why he only got 6 goals. It wasn't all down to him. It was the injuries to certain members of the team. It was the way they played. It didn't, there was so many different reasons for him only getting 6 last season.
Yeah, well, one of them being he played 200 fewer minutes than the season prior to that. Another one being he got rather unlucky and his XG was actually close to 11. If I can scroll across, where's your XG? So his XG was actually 11. So he was meant to score just under double what he actually scored. And people don't run cold forever. We talk about players running hot and cold. Messi and Ronaldo always break XG models and score from positions they shouldn't because they're just amazing. But 90, 97, 98, 99% of players generally do fall into the XG model and they do perform what is expected. So he will have more goals. A lot of people have talked about him scoring in clusters. Yes, this does seem to be true. He seems to be a confidence player and a bit of luck where sometimes he just, he likes to hit shots. He hits shots from everywhere on the pitch, inside, outside. If he thinks he's got a good hit on, he's very much like Callum Wilson. We'll talk about that in a bit. But Callum Wilson, we all know this. Sometimes he'll just take one touch, bam, straight in, whether it's a chip or a shot. He's so clinical, and that is what his focus is one touch. Have I got the space to shoot? Yes, shoot. That is his first thought. Isak is the same. Wants to get that shot away. High shot volume. Very, very impressive. And that will balance back out. He will, especially in a team that's going to feed him more, fingers crossed. And then obviously these don't really count because we've he got a goal from 2 starts, so he's doing all right this season.
50% average. That's quite good.
Now he's ours.
He is.
Do you want to comment before we do stats?
Well, I'm just going through the comments. I mean, to be honest, it looks like a lot of people are really happy. Some people think he may start on Sunday. Some people not so sure. It's interesting to see how people are feeling, but it's now a lot of people as well have seemed to have moved on and saying, right, who's next? We've got Isak through the door. Who's coming in next? But that's a mystery because the way we're going, everything's kept on the hush hush at Newcastle. They're not going to give anything away. They will make it known when we have agreed a fee with a player, like they did yesterday or the day before. They agreed. They came out and said that they agreed a fee with Sociedad for Isak. So, again, it could be players that we've talked about in the past that have been linked in the media, or it could well be that somebody else is on the radar, but we don't know. We will just have to wait and see. Carry on, Alex.
Right, so I'm going to try and go into what these mean in a bit more context. Now I've seen him play a lot more and I've done a lot more digging. Obviously, there's a lot of content out there from the Athletic and other people online. And yeah, there are some parts to his game that are interesting. One being aerials. He's not very good in the air for somebody that's really tall. And this has been pointed out by a lot of people. So I'm going to be honest in my analysis of him. This is what I think. I don't think he's very good in the air at the moment. It's something I would really hope he does improve because it would be nice, especially with the aerial threats we've got, having Joelinton, Botman, and sometimes even Burn on the pitch all at the same time. We're quite annoying from set pieces. So having that, it would be nice for that to improve. We do want him to win the ball a bit more in the air, whether it's for direct headers on goal or whether it's to actually head it down and bring other players into the game. Defensive stats as well. It completely depends on the system they're playing. I do think this can completely flip with us. I think he can press a lot more. I think he can run a lot more, do a lot more. It's the system he was in. It was very much more be a little bit more physical and try and run channels and just be annoying. And as you can see here, so this is the part of his game that is ridiculous. Is dribbles. He's very, very good at dribbling for somebody his size. I have compared him to Ekitike in the past, and I will do it again. I think this guy has a lot of similarities. He shares a lot of similar traits with Ekitike as a player. He's just 3 or 4 years older. Mm-hmm. He's a little bit more developed. He's very, very good at dribbling. So progressive carries. So just to clarify, so excludes carries from the defending 40% of the pitch. So all of these carries are being done high up. So he's driving the ball. So players like Joelinton don't always get credited with lots of progressive carries because a lot of the time he wins the ball, he tackles in the left back area and will drive it up. So he doesn't always get logged as good statistically. Whereas this guy obviously stands a lot higher up as a forward, drives the ball, completes lots of dribbles. He gets a nutmeg every 5th game as well. He's very, very technical, very talented with the ball, and very, very good dribbler. Shot creating actions is impressive at 2.52 as well. And something I've mentioned before, shots total at 3 per game. I know it says 2.96, but that's 3. I'm going to round it up. That's 3 shots per game. That's good. That's really, really tidy. That's more than Callum Wilson's getting. We need more shot volume. We want shots on goal. And we want people who are clinical to be taking those shots. Mm-hmm. So let's open it up a bit more and show some juicy stuff. Interesting things I found when watching his actual games and digging into this is so passes. I was a bit concerned about maybe, could he develop into a dominant team that are going to have so much of the ball? His passing's not too bad. When you look at his pass completion percentage for short and medium, They're not too bad. 81% for a forward on short passes is okay, because generally when they're receiving the ball that high up, all the passes are going to be dangerous. They're going to be pressed very aggressively. So the pass completion percentage for short and medium is okay. It's fine. And his general pass completion is okay for a forward as well. He's in sort of the 60th or better percentile in Europe, which is great. Things that some people haven't mentioned: through balls and crosses. I like this. Through balls, I know it's only 0.17, but still, having him being able to connect with other players. We're going to have on-rushing players. We're going to have, especially with Maxi on this pitch. Maxi is going to be on this pitch for the season, as long as there's no injuries. So if we can have a player who can drift out like Wilson did against Forest, he drifted out once on his own and put in a lovely cross. Isak seems to do the same. He's a forward who understands where he wants the ball.
Well, this is what a lot of people have been asking, Alex, is when Wilson's fit, can we incorporate them both into the team? Could Isak play slightly wider on the right or the left, keep swapping with Maxi with Wilson through the middle, or Wilson out on the right-hand side? He played there against Everton, of course, last season. Billy mentioned that last night, that Callum Wilson played further right and still bagged 2 goals, and it was actually Miggy who was going through the middle. So is it possible that we could see them both in the team?
100%. Absolutely. I think a great comparison is Manchester City. A lot of their forwards, obviously they've gone a different way with Haaland, but these teams do have flexible attacks where they can rotate. They're all capable of running channels. They're all capable of crossing. They're all capable of through balls. They can all do it because they've bought the players that are so good they can do all of these things. And Isak does tick a lot of these boxes. He's talented enough and intelligent enough to be able to play tidy crosses. He plays one accurate cross per 90. That's really good. Through balls as well. It's just stuff it's stuff from forwards that helps.
Can you
just
really, a few comments to zoom in again, Alex, if you can, please, just so they can see.
We're a bit far out, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
Cheers.
So yeah, through balls. So through balls and crosses is what we're looking at. I just think it's really nice that he's got these little additional bits in his game, because these stats, if we can see this on the pitch, will bag people like Maxi and Miggy additional goals, and they'll contribute. He's not a one-trick pony. He can do other things. He can play out wide. He can play with a partner. He can play on his own. And I think he will love having a high pressing team with him, because we are very, very good at pressing, and he's just ready. He's like a what's it called? Coiled spring. He's just ready. Yeah. He's ready to go. In the 2 matches I watched, he's watching carefully and anticipating the turnover, and he's gone. He's ready. He wants the counter attack. He wants to just drive. I think he really suits our style. Really, really suits our style. It's
and he's ready, isn't he? Because he'll be match fit. He's match fit and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a preseason. He's played a couple of games in La Liga already. Scored, looks good. He looked great against Barcelona. Fair enough, they lost 4-1, but Barcelona have spent 600 bajillion pounds that they don't have. Shot creating actions as well. This is one of my favorite stats. Very underrated stat. It's one that Maxi scores very high on, and people underestimate it. So most people just look at goals and assists, but Maxi tends to do a lot of things before the goal or assist. So a lot of the time the goal will come from stuff that he's done slightly deeper in the pitch. And that will get logged as a shot creating action, whether it's a dribble that's led to a teammate getting a shot off because he's done something well. So Isak is the same. Again, a lot of that will be down to his dribbling, possibly through balls as well, the odd cross. But it seems like he contributes to other teammates a lot in these statistics as well. And visually, from what I saw, even positionally, that goal I explained in the beginning that Kubo scored against Cadiz, Isak will not get any credit for that statistically, but visually he occupied more than what Chris Wood does, purely because he was just running and getting back on side, bending a run and getting back on side. He was constantly being annoying, and they had to put players on him, and it created space for other teammates. So there is more to this than we can't even see in the statistics, just because of the way he's moving defenders out of position. Dribbled past he doesn't like being dribbled past either. He hates it. Apparently, he's very good at not being dribbled past,
which is good.
So this is the sexy football stuff. Very, very sexy football stuff. These are all very high. He's a good dribbler. Very, very good dribbler.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, one in five games he gets a nutmeg. He's a very good ball progressor. He picks the ball up, he's gone. He's hard to shove off the ball. He's technical. He will drive it up. Carries it into the penalty area, into the final third. Progressive carries are very high. Successful dribbles are very high.
Yeah.
He's not going to progress the ball through passing. That's not his job. He's a striker. But when he gets it, he's just going to turn and run. And then this is something we are hoping to work on is defensive statistics slightly.
Well, he's not the complete player yet, is he? And I think that's what Eddie will be aware of that as well. That there's some aspects of his game that need to be improved. And if there's anybody that's going to do it, it's Eddie Howe, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah. I mean, it's very early to suggest he can't do these things. I mean, I'm gonna take these defensive stats with a huge pinch of salt.
It all depends how he was asked to play at Sociedad as well.
Exactly. That's bang on. He might be able to just suddenly switch and do considerably more pressures per 90 and possibly because it also depends on teammates around you.
Yeah.
If there's two or three other players closing off passing lanes, that will help Isak's tackle rate, interception rate, because teammates are helping, just tighten everything up. So it does depend on the system, the players around you. It's not like Bruno's position where he's just capable of he can produce the numbers off his own back. Whereas as a forward, if you press alone, they can pass around you. It has to be done as a team. It's very different. This is where players like Miggy and stuff are very underrated. I understand they're not elite wingers. I get that, but our press is impressive, and it's frustrated a lot of teams. It's frustrated City, Arsenal. Our press is good, and this guy will benefit, I think, from our press. And I hope he starts. To be honest, I don't think he will, but I really, really do hope he starts.
Yeah,
because I think he is a amazing talent.
It's exciting, isn't it? And it'd be the build up to the game on Sunday when we're just waiting for 1 o'clock to tick over and see if he's in the starting lineup. I think it would be a hell of a boost if he is, because I think if he's in the starting lineup, it gives everybody a massive, massive lift. Not just the players, but the fans as well. I mean, the fans will be going down there on Sunday desperate for him to start, desperate to see him start. And let's face it, if he is match fit, right? Do it the other way around. Instead of playing Chris Wood and then hauling Chris Wood off after 60, 70 minutes, do that with Isak. Give him 70 minutes. And this is what we paid the big money for. Get him in. He's fit. He's ready to go. He's played in a similar formation. Give him an hour. Give him an hour and 20. Give him an hour and 10 or whatever it is. Just get him on the pitch.
Yeah,
I don't think
I know what you mean, but I just don't think. Again, it's down to our pressing, our system, and the instructions. I think the coaching staff and Eddie Howe are reluctant to just throw players in until they are 100% confident and they know exactly what is expected of them. And I think it's difficult. I could be wrong. He might start because, like I've said, he's played in a similar way to a level. Obviously, the press isn't quite as it is at our club, but.
It's not as
he
intense,
could be thrown in, but he wouldn't be up to speed on everything we do as a team. But yeah, I've got a few other points to move on to as well. 6-year contract. A lot of people originally reported it was going to be a 5-year before he signed. It is a 6-year, which is great. 10% sell on. Do we care? Maybe not. Probably not. But 6 years is really good. It's nice to have him for that long. Obviously, people are complaining about the price. I think the fact that he fits us so well, and it's a 6-year contract, not a 5, I feel like that helps justify it slightly more. I'm more into it because we've got that 6 years, not 5. But yeah, I do agree with a lot of people. It is probably more than he's worth right now in world football. But it's purely because strikers just don't exist. Like the top ones have gone. Vlahovic went in January. Nunez is gone. Haaland's gone. Skamaka went, who was highly rated, obviously struggled at West Ham in the beginning, but all of these strikers have just been hoovered up. And this is one of the few that were left because people had reservations. They weren't quite sure what they were going to do. Arsenal went a different way with Gabriel Jesus, which is working very well for them. And we've pulled the trigger on this one.
There, he says, imagine all those fast dribbling players coming at opposition defences. They'll be crapping themselves. I mean, you've got Maxi, you've got Isak, Wilson when he's fit. You've got Miggy running at you. You've got potentially Trippier bobbing down the right-hand side, Target down the left, Willock through the middle. The options are so beneficial to us now for absolute pace on the attack. We can really go at defenders now.
Yeah, it's different compared to Wilson and Isak. They have similarities in their game, but Isak is much more of a dribbler. He's far more comfortable picking the ball up 5 to 10 yards deeper and just running at you or running alongside and beating off the fullback or whatever. So yeah, dribbling wise, I am really interested to see how this works with Maxi. Really interested, because there have been games where Wilson's looked very, very fit, where him and Maxi have combined extremely well. Obviously, it worked. It worked against City very, very well because they were having to respect Callum Wilson a lot. They were having to respect his runs because he's just a clinician, and that gave Maxi so much space. But the fact that this kid can do what Wilson does to a level and do the dribbly bits as well, because he's just young and powerful and can do the driving. Yeah, they're in trouble. This is what we explained months and months and months and months and months ago. They're not going to be able to triple up on everybody. They can't do it. And as we bring in this sort of quality, it's just going to allow for far more space for people like Isak himself or Maxi or whoever's on the other side or on rushing midfielders. When we're adding people of this quality, it's going to get to a point where they can't double and triple up on everybody. Once we've got beyond 2 or 3 good players and we've got 6 or 7 good players, that's it. They're just going to have to sit deep and just try their best. We're going to start becoming a bit more dominant. So
absolutely. Anything else?
What else have I got? He's good at intercepting passes. He's not bad at standing in channels. It doesn't.
Which I think Eddie will like as well, because he likes those type of players, doesn't he? The chipping on the defensive side as well. So
yeah, it's not like standard interceptions, but he's good at standing in passing lanes. He's got a bit of intelligence about his football, which at that age is nice. Maybe his international career we can touch on slightly. 39 caps for Sweden, 9 goals. Ibrahimovic really, really likes him. Thinks he's going to be the next big thing. He called him a lion. And he's going to be everything. That's big praise. Obviously, Zlatan is a tank. So
absolutely,
if Zlatan thinks he's good enough, then yeah.
But again, it's the same old saying. We need to give this guy a little bit of time to settle into the Premier League as well. If he doesn't set the world on fire within like 30 minutes of being on the pitch, we still have to realise that he needs time. But look, brilliant signing. Came out of the blue. To go and get him is brilliant. It's really put a statement out there that we are serious. And for me, it's not the last one that's coming in. Like we said earlier, possibly another permanent deal and another loan. And that certainly would complete the transfer window for me. And, this signing of Isak, for me, does take it to the next level of signings. I think it's brilliant. I think it's fantastic. And I'm very, very excited to see how he does on Sunday, should he play any part in the game. But only Eddie Howe will know what he wants to do there. But there you go, guys. That is Alexander Isak. Thank you very much, Alex, for the rundown. And I'm certain that it's given everybody a clear idea of what type of player we've got and what type of player we can get used to seeing in a black and white shirt in future years. 6-year deal. Coming up 23 years old. This guy is a big statement signing for Newcastle United, with more to come. Absolutely, 100%. Well, that's it. Join us in around 9 minutes' time, ladies and gentlemen, for TTR Friday. Me and Alex will be joined by Billy, of course, and the returning Danielle. She's taking it day by day. but has decided to come on tonight because she needs a smile on her face, she needs a laugh, and she'll get it on TTR Friday. There'll be no Danielle rant tonight because she's got nothing to rant for. She's just coming on the show to have a really good laugh with her friends, which includes you guys out there. So it'll be great to have her back. So we'll see you in about 8 or 9 minutes. Take care, guys.